Sebastian is with me on the line down in Australia.
Hey, William, how's it going?
Long time no see. Good to see you. Very exciting.
I'm so excited. The season's kicking off, and it was just such a slick show. A great start to the whole national final season. So happy with it.
Yeah, so why don't we start discussing the show broadly, not the results? I think the production was on point. Every single act had something special visually. I think France invested a lot of money in the production, or at least they did a lot with their resources. Some of the vocals generally did let me down. We'll take this in turn, but on the whole, I was really impressed with what France did.
100%. I thought compared to last year where the stage felt quite small and intimate, this year's stage felt a lot more bigger, a lot grandiose. We actually had proper props on the stage, like Melody Festival level props, which I was super impressed with. But I completely agree with you on vocals. Vocally, there was something off tonight. I don't know if it was the backing tracks were too strong or the microphones were a bit too soft, but I didn't feel power in many of the performances in their vocals. That was a letdown for tonight. But production overall was great. I'm digging the whole, cover of a song before the actual song. I feel it's really unique to the French national final. And yeah, really digged it.
And Kristin in Iceland, what was your general thought about the show?
Well produced, first and foremost, really well produced. Maybe because the show last year was so spectacular, even though it was kind of raw. I was a little underwhelmed this year, but probably just the songs. But maybe the sounding system could have been a little bit better for my taste. Seemed a little hollow at some point.
Absolutely. All right, let's discuss the 4 qualifiers one by one. The first is the jury winner and the televote winner, Bilal Hassani. I gotta say, I like the kind of Conchita vibe. This is very much a song of emancipation. You tried to take his crown, he ain't gonna frown. You tried to knock him down, he gonna stand up. That's all very good. I think the vocals are getting good. I mean, they're not stellar yet, but he has time to master them and push further. It felt flat at times with the staging and backing. Like he walked to the audience and he got on stage. Then he did slay his part, but I just feel like it needs faster camera angles or camera crops or something to give it a bit more power.
Yeah, I felt like it was almost too staged or too robotic at times. Like right now I'm standing in the crowd and then I take some steps towards the stage and then I do this movement. It didn't have a nice flow to it. He will definitely grow into this performance though. I can definitely hear him getting more confident throughout the performance. His dance moves were stellar. We need to see more of that because I feel like when he was dancing and moving, it felt more authentic to him. Vocally, I agree, it was a little bit flat. You could hear him hitting the head of the note rather than the note itself. So it didn't have the power that this song needed to have vocally. But good performance. Probably not deserving, in my opinion, of a jury and public blackout with the votes, but it was good.
Well, he never lost his charm. I think that is what got him all the way to the first place tonight. He is so charming. You just look at him and you can't take your eyes off him, whatever he's doing on the stage. So yeah, he will grow into, he will get more practice, and I think that vocally he will grow a lot stronger. And of course, they'll need to tweak the staging a little bit. This was just the very first night. I think he's going to do well, and I think he's going to surprise us a lot.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot on his side. The youth factor, he's very young and fresh. It was kind of like a teenager singing in a sea of old men and women. Not that they're old, but because he's so young, he makes everyone else feel slightly stale. And
he's
also,
so petite.
Yeah, he is a size 0. I would say a size -1 potentially. There's a likability here. You want him to do well because there's like an underdog quality. But let me tell you this, the underdog is not no underdog anymore. He is now the favorite. Okay, because he won, across all cultures, all the jurors, from Armenia to the UK were giving him top marks. So he clearly has pan-European appeal.
Yeah, he has that. Yeah. He has that charm. He has that certain je ne sais quoi, which is just getting. He's just oozing. I don't have strong enough adjective for this. He is amazing.
But Sebastian, do you think this is too much like a Conchita song? That's the criticism we're seeing online.
It's always going to be compared to Conchita. That's always going to happen. He even compared himself to Conchita at the beginning of the performance. And when you're comparing yourself to a Eurovision winner, it's always a very difficult thing to do because you have to live up to that standard. And right now, he didn't live up to it. And that's the difficulty of it. But he definitely has a star quality about him. There is a complete star in there. I think move away from the Conchita, be a Bilal Hassani, not a Conchita Wurst number 2.
Yep. I agree.
Well, there we go. All right, we have to get some reader comments quickly. Going Nuts Gaming says, love Bilal, but don't really like Roy. Maximilian says, Simone is going to win. Bernardo Pereira, WIWIblogger, says, Bilal is extremely overrated, like Gabani levels of overrated, but Francesco had a better song. Paul Marin says, France bottom. I don't know if that France bottom, thumbs down, thumbs down. Oh, dear. All right. Oh, Josh Kinnan, also a WIWIblogger. Bilal has an honesty to him that I think Conchita also possessed that makes him kind of endearing. All right, we got to move on to the next act. The second place contestant overall was, Miss Chimène Badi. She is a woman, a diva. When she covered EFP off, I was blown away. She hit those notes with such ease. This was like a walk in the park for her. And then she proved she has a very fine box. Okay, Farid Mamadov was getting box envy. Her box lit up. Her box had smoke. Her box had purple. Her box had fuchsia. This was very innovative. The song for me is very dull. However, she sells it with that staging.
Completely agree. It was, I mean, hearing this recorded track, it was a nothing to me. But hearing her on stage, especially hearing all the performances before her, where it wasn't vocally there, she was just like, hold my Cosmo, I'm going to be like knocking this song out of the park vocally. And the staging itself, so simple, yet so effective. That box, I loved what Jack Lawson said in our comments. He was saying like, it's the year of the box for France. It's like, we've got women inside of boxes, women on top of boxes, women banging boxes. The box just worked and it felt so polished. It was ready to hit Eurovision stage. And that was what was so amazing about it.
Well, I always believe that it's good to think outside the box. I think the song is very boring. I'm sorry. But she is just, she is a diva. She completely, like you said, she sells every single note, every single tone. She is there and she ain't going anywhere. So Bilal has a strong competitor there. I mean, Chimene could be that dark horse who just comes along on the very last minute, like, nah, bitch, this is mine. And just go all the way to Tel Aviv.
I have to repeat what you said because that is so amazing. You said she needs to think outside the box. The song is boring. And I totally agree with you. This is a matter of kind of, what's the expression? Dressing up something in sheep's clothing. Like the song, so-so. But when you put it inside that box, it looks beautiful. This is how people get away with selling 60-pound chocolate. The chocolate's the same chocolate you could get at your local gas station, but they put it in a box with a big ribbon on top and then you want to eat. You know what I'm saying? But overall, though, the vocal quality tonight, because of the sound issues, was not strong. And so she stood out even more. She came off so well because her voice was probably the best voice of the night, or at least among them.
She was. Hands down.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, it was weird to see, you mentioned that, but the juries did not reward her in the same way that the public did. The juries did not reward that vocal performance. I'm like, what is going on here? It was the public that actually really took her to the top here, which really makes me question what the jury were listening to or even watching, because that performance, even though the song, as you all said, was not a stellar song, it was delivered flawlessly.
Well, she has built a name for herself before Eurovision. From what I gather from people that I know in France, she has had some hits and she is a well-known artist. So maybe that was what was getting her, on the soft side with the public, even though the juries weren't awarding her some points.
Yeah, so here's some comments from our readers. Suspicious Windmill says, I think if Chimène goes to Eurovision, it could reach around 8th to 15th place. It's a very Eurovision-friendly song and the vocals are stellar. Going Nuts Gaming says, they've polished a turd. And yes, Barry Piatoff in New York says, I could root and blog about Chimène Badi from now until May 18th. He clearly thinks she is serving Badi. All right, we've got to move on to the next act in the final now. The third qualifier was who?
It was
Silvan Areg.
Yay!
This, if I'm being 100% honest, was my favorite overall performance. I think he took a song that was good, but he made it come to life with staging. They took Zoe's Windmill, they put him in a cartoon fantasy. He was interacting, he was playful. It was cliche French carnival music on the one hand, but then he gave it like an R&B or spoken word vibe that just made it so interesting. It was likable, and he was charming. He was so charming. I would now watch this on loop. He was one of my personal winners tonight.
He was just totally my winner tonight. This is what I live for in Eurovision, when something comes along that is so unique and so charismatic. Remember what I was like with Egid last year? Remember? Yeah, I got the same vibes this year. So this is my, I don't care what happens next Saturday. Silvan is my winner. I want Silvan to Tel Aviv, and that's the end of that. And I will not quote this anymore.
But Kristin, could he do well at Eurovision? Just a question.
Personally, I would love to say yes. Giving the experience, this has somewhat of a remember the guys from 2007. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce their name because I won't butcher the French language.
Oh, Sebastian Teller?
No. He was in 2008.
Oh.
It was Les Fatales Picards. Pardon my French. I'm so sorry, France. But it was a similar song, and I loved that song. But it didn't reach the public. And I think maybe Silvan won't reach the public as much as he should if he goes all the way to Eurovision.
Well, Sebastian,
he could also pull a Francesco Cavani and just be everybody's sweetheart.
Yeah, indeed. Sebastian, do you agree with Kristin?
I do, to an extent. So like before, when I heard this song, it was real jaunty, but it had almost that cheap quality to it as a recorded track. It reminded me of a lot of Twin Twins Moustache in a lot of ways. It has that jaunty kind of fast talking paced vibe to it. But what he delivered on stage was completely the opposite to Twin Twin. The stage was so full. It was this like monochrome realness to it. It was like walking on this treadmill, so it was fast paced. It was moving really well. And your eyes could not escape him because he has an absolute star quality to him. Whether this will do well at Eurovision or not, I don't think. Previous history indicates that these kind of songs may not do so well for France. They do well for countries like Moldova, where it's a bit more cheesy, but I don't know if France will do so well with a song like this. But props to him.
This is a song I want to do well for exactly what you've just said. Like, it reminds me of the Moldovas. Like, there's an authenticity to this. And he's just being himself. Like, it doesn't feel forced. Like, maybe some of the other songs, people were trying to be pop stars and pop, divas. He ain't trying to be no diva. He's trying to be Silvan.
I was thinking about the name of the song and the lyrics. I haven't read the lyrics yet, but I want them to be about the character Le Petit Nicolas, which is a little French boy who goes around and gets in all kinds of escapades. And I'd like to think that this song is about him because I used to read books. when I was little. So if anybody knows if this is about Le Petit Nicolas from the books, then please let me know, because I would be so happy.
We will ask. All right, the fourth qualifier, the final qualifier is Aysat, Comme, grande. She was serving that urban realness. This is pretty much the only urban track we had. It felt very contemporary, very modern. I think there were some issues with the sound, the mic, because the studio cut was superior to this. They need to sort these problems out. I believe that she can sing. I just don't think the sound environment this evening allowed her to sing. She was moving a lot, so she was breathy, obviously, but I think she's better than the performance she gave, and she gave a good performance. So I think she's amazing. They just need to sort out everything around her. The dancing was great too, and I loved the color.
The colors kind of reminded me of Heart to Heart from '92 in Iceland. But no, she caught my eye. I mean, there was a lot going on the stage, but you never missed the focus. You never lost the focus, which was Aysat. So yeah, the sound system was a little bit off. But like you said, she is better than the song. I think she, once they fix that sound problem, she will shine all the way through like she is supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, the sound completely ruined what would have been an amazing performance. But you know what? It really, to me, Aysat's not about the vocal quality. Aysat's about Aysat. Like, she has such, like, oh my God, like a star quality about her. When she's dancing and moving on that stage, when she was performing Dancing Queen, which, let's admit it, it was vocally just atrocious, which you performed that cover. But like, she owned it and everyone was getting into it. The crowd was so like cheering with her. They were like body rolling with her.
And Christoph was into it.
Christoph was so into it. I thought Christoph would be giving her side eye, let's be real. But no, he was into it. She just has so much sass and so much attitude where it's like, I don't care if my vocal performance isn't great. I don't care if I'm like half a millisecond behind the recorded track, so I'm kind of off time, because I'm just doing my own thing and you're going to love it. And I did love it for that reason.
Okay, so we have to discuss the act the jury would have put through, but did not make it through. That is Lautner. These were the two guys with very big biceps. They were very attractive, but it wasn't clear if they could sing or not. The jury put them fourth, ahead of Chimène Badi. Look, I think the judges were voting with their eyes and not with their ears, because Lautner's song was dull and there were no vocals.
100%. Like, okay, take their good looks aside. The staging was so off. Like, what is with skating? It's like they thought, what are the kids into nowadays? Like, kids aren't into skating anymore. I thought they were going to have like Fortnite dances or like floss dancing behind them. Like, it was so off with the song. And when he had that moment when he was playing the violin and the other singer was like circling him, I'm like, what is he circling him for? It just felt so wrong on so many places. Visually, they're great. And that's exactly what the jury were voting for. They're like, they look hot, so let's just put them up there. I'm glad for their sake that they didn't qualify, because hopefully they can come back at a future time with a better song and better staging, because they do have talent.
Cute guys, weak vocals, I'm done.
She says, cute guys, weak vocals, she's done. I think you are right. I've got to read you a comment rather. A ball of floof says, oh, where did it go? Oh yeah, no, that's not it. Where did a ball of floof go? Oh.
I don't know, but I want to go with.
Yeah, I lost. Oh yes, he said the dark hair guy looked terrified, and it's true. One of them was like much more at ease, and then the dark hair guy, he was like not at ease. He seemed very nervous, very overwhelmed by the experience, perhaps because he's not a singer. I don't know. I'm just really confused why the jury rated this so highly.
Because they weren't voting with their ears.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
He was definitely playing like second fiddle, pun intended, to the other singer. Like, he was nowhere near as good as the guy with the fiddle, and it just looked a little bit average. As was it Kristin? You were saying a lot that this felt like a high school performance, like a high school stage performance. That's what it felt
Well,
like.
that wasn't me, but you know, I know what you're saying. I saw that too. Yeah.
Rui Gonzalez says Belarus Junior Eurovision Song Contest 2018 staging was better and more appropriate than that. All right. In our comment section, there's a whole lot of talk about Florina. Florina, of course, received 0 points from the jury. That's 0 points, last place from the jury. This left a lot of people confused. I'm going to be completely honest. On the positive side, the song I think is lovely. I think it sounds very now. Ariana Grande or Selena Gomez could sing it. It's very Spotify friendly, very radio friendly. She looked great, loved her outfit, loved her beauty, her innocence. The vocals were not amazing. She sounded a little nervous and she wasn't hitting all the notes. However, this did not deserve 0 points. I think it must have been a mic issue. There must have been some other issue the jury heard that I did not hear. Like, 0 points is very, very harsh. There are other acts who were more deserving of 0 points than her.
Nobody deserved 0 points at all. Never. Nothing was working there. I'm sorry. Not the song, not the vocals. I mean, she was cute and, you know, her outfit was amazing. But other than that, there was nothing going on. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, she could have been a victim to the running order. She was pretty early on, and I'm not going to lie, I forgot about her performance towards the end of it because there was far more stellar performances after her. She didn't deserve 0, but she deserved a few points at best. You could definitely hear the nerves in her voice, and that was what really brought her down, I thought.
Batista Aquaviva. There was a lot of hype about this girl before the contest, but the performance was just not good. I'm sorry. Everything about this was wrong. You know, it was like Izel's performance from Azerbaijan was invaded by strippers. There was too much. Then they threw snow on it. It just didn't make sense. And it distracted me from the beauty of the Corsican language.
But Corsican? What about Latin?
No, it was Corsican.
Ah. Well, it was so weird. Everything was so weird on that stage. Was it the sound, or was this song just written for a person with a higher vocal range, or it was kind of like Enya had a week of binge drinking. She was like losing her voice and still trying to order one last shot at the bar. No,
it was like a snow globe bought from the dollar store at best. It was just not good. The dancers were just like, where did they find them? Why were they doing the same movements over and over again for 3 minutes? Just the general swag. Like, you're right, it was almost like a hangover. They were all swaying on the stage like they were just over it. And to see that was that the public gave it quite a lot of votes. I was like, okay then, like, obviously the public saw something, but I saw nothing of value to this, sadly.
Yeah, a lot of our YouTube followers agree with what you guys are saying. One person asked, Sasa Tominic says, did Batista even sing? Because she was so quiet. Batista Aquaviva, more like Batista, I don't know how to hold a microphone, and therefore my vocals were more akin to wailing than singing. She also, you know, at the beginning, she almost seemed overwhelmed when she was doing her cover. Her eyes, she was all like, do you remember this section?
Yeah.
Like, she was playing
she
like
was scared.
Yeah, I didn't know
it was
who
like
that
she was
was.
trying to stare or like gaze, you know, longingly and seductively into the camera, but it just came out like she was a deer in headlights.
Deer in headlights.
Yeah. The melody of the song was nice. The whole melody. It was just like the singing and the staging. And I'm sorry, were those dancers? I thought they were like chiropractors or something. Teaching friends how to, like, you know, you sway this way, then your back won't crack.
They were flexible, I'll give you that. They were flexible.
They were
Very,
low
very
budget.
flexible.
I'm sorry, they took the understudies from Angoon in 2012 and they put them in this. They said, you didn't have your chance 6 years ago, but you can do it now. It was off.
Just go up to that mountain.
Indeed. All right. Well, do you guys have any other acts you would like to discuss?
100%. My favorite for the night was Macy's Ooh La La. That finished as an absolute banger. I am devastated that didn't qualify. It was like some fluorescent realness. It was, as I was saying in the chat, it was the most authentic performance of the night. It felt completely true to her. She delivered it on her own terms. She didn't have to move because the box already gave her the established kind of staging there. When she started drumming on the wooden box, I'm like, this feels like the best busker you've seen on the streets of Paris. And I was living for it. The fact it didn't qualify was devastating for me.
Maybe she'll get a wild card. It was cool.
She made the best use of the box for real. And I'm not sure if you just said this, but girl was on it, in it, banging it. It was just fabulous. This is like her and Chimène Badi should have a boxing match, but I'm not talking about with their fist. I mean with their staging. Because there's something about a box on stage with a beautiful woman slaying that gives me the chills.
Yeah.
She knows how to use her box.
There you go. I wish I had that skill. Kristin, who was your favorite of the night?
Silvan.
Ah, yes.
And that's it.
Yeah, I gotta say, on the...
He stole everybody else's thunder. Sorry.
A lot of our readers are saying, and I want to pose this question to each of you, they're saying that if Bilal wins, that France risks coming near the bottom. Do you think that's an exaggeration? Do you agree? Is there hope if he does win?
There's always hope. He's not a scraping the bottom type. No, I do not agree that he will scrape the bottom. Who knows what's going to happen? Like I said, he had something up his sleeve. He's going to shine.
I think the benefit to Bilal is he will grow. He will grow as a performer. He was just starting. This is the start of his Eurovision journey. If he makes it to the end and performs at Eurovision, he will grow with his performance. Right now, I agree. If this was on a Eurovision stage last year, it wouldn't have done superbly well. But he's young, he's learning. He looks like he's hungry to learn, and he will get there.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, last year, Emiliana, in her semi, she was good, but in the final, she was great. Destination Eurovision, they will tweak these performances before the final. So hopefully that means Bilal's performance will have a bit more life. Yeah, because I just remember a sea of white, lots of people wearing white, and I want more. He deserves more. He's worthy of more. Cool. Well, you guys, final thoughts before we wrap this up. I'll just read a few comments from our readers to inspire your final thoughts. Someone says, Miss Aquaviva was being so extra. That's from Burger Morris. Vuxi17 is Sebastian from Australia. Yes, he is. Sean O'Hara, Bilal is just winning because he's already famous, but that doesn't mean good results. And MJ and the ESC says, I think we just have to wait for the finals. Maybe everyone will sing better than tonight.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
I think that's a given. I think we do have a very strong second semi-final we've got to watch out for. I don't particularly believe we're going to see the winner out of this semi-final unless, you know, it's Bilal. I can't see anyone other than Bilal kind of winning this whole competition from this semi-final. And vocally, we're going to see how this all improves by the final.
I have a strong feeling Simone is going to be a dark horse in this competition. Based on her snippet, it was the most emotional song. And given how pop everyone else is, like pop, maybe her pop will tug on heartstrings.
We'll just have to wait and see.
So wait and see.
Well, that's what we think. What do you think? Who were your favorites in the first semifinal of Destination Eurovision? Do you agree with the jury putting Florina last with 0 points, and putting Roy on top, that is king. Let us know here on WIWIBLOGGS.
Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're going to be here next week. We're going to be here for the final. We're going to be here for the whole national final season. So give us a like, a subscribe, follow us on Pinterest, Insta, Twitter, Facebook, the whole shabazz.
Yep, let's do this.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.